Hi guys, my name is Jessica and today I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 favorite books I read in 2024. This was so hard to narrow down because there were so many good books this year, but I think it took me forever. That's why this video is up so late. I think I finally narrowed down which is going to be my top 10 favorite books, but I did also leave a few honorable mentions, which I'm going to get to at the end. But yeah, let's see what books I have, and if you liked the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and comment below what's your favorite book of the year. Number 10 is going to be The Happily Ever After playlist, which is by Abby Jimenez. And she's become one of my all-time favorite authors. I know, I'm sure you guys know as well. There's a new book coming on in April, and I'm so excited to read it. And you'll see a lot of her books are featured in this list. I actually read Yours Truly last year, and then I stopped reading her books for a long time for whatever reason. And then I decided to give her books a chance again and became absolutely obsessed. But anyway, for this book, number 10, this is about, I'm just looking down at my notes, Salone and also Jason. That was his name. I always forget. He's one of the characters' names. I actually read this a bunch of months ago. I think I read it at least in the summer or spring. But this is about Salone so I can't tell what happened to her because it's a spoiler, but something big happened in her life that she's grieving. And so she's been in an extremely depressed state. She's not her old sunshiny self. And she finds this dog. And it turns out this dog is a famous singer's dog who's across the world right now in Australia. And they start texting back and forward, corresponding. And of course they eventually meet. And as you can imagine, fall in love. And what I loved about this book, I really loved Salone. I thought Salone had such a great sunshine personality that you could feel even through her depression and grief. And what I didn't like about this book though, was sometimes I found the character Jason to be a little bit of a whiner. Like his career as a singer is so amazing, his dreams are coming true, and I'm like dreaming being an actress, and if my dreams are coming true, I would be like appreciative, and he seemed a little like unappreciative of the fact that all his dreams are coming true. But besides that, I really thought it was a great book, and I think I gave it 3.6 out of 5 stars. And I'm hard to give 5 stars. I give a lot of Goodreads because I round up if it's over 4.5, but this starting off 3.6 was a great book. Okay, on to number 9. Oh, and number 9 I actually don't have here because I actually read it as an audiobook, which I very rarely do. But number 9 it's kind of a funny story. Actually, I think it's just called Funny Story. Number 9 is Funny Story by Emily Henry. And I'm sure you all have read this. Emily Henry is such a popular author. And this is definitely my favorite book I've read of her so far. But I'm also so excited for the People We Met on Vacation movie coming out this year or next year because I love Tom Blight. But if you don't know what Funny Story is about, it's about that Daphne. So Daphne, she's in a relationship with her fiance, but unexpectedly out of nowhere, he comes home and it's like, I'm leaving you for my best friend Petra. And so she has nowhere to go, Daphne, so she ends up moving in with Petra's ex, Miles. And Daphne's a librarian and Miles is like a stoner, she thinks at first. And so first they don't even talk, but eventually they start to bond, and Miles starts like showing her around town, try to convince her to stay and not move away. And they even do a little bit of fake dating. And so what I think about this book is it's really like a really good book. Like I really enjoyed like all the side characters and how it wasn't just like a smut book. Not that like I don't love spicy books, of course, but like I really liked like all the story that went into it. And I liked that it wasn't insta love. Like I liked that they had to like grow to love each other, because sometimes it's insta love. I feel like, well, the book's over, they already love each other. So yeah, like this was a really, really amazing book, and I definitely gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, on to the next book. So my next book, which is my favorite cover of the year, this wins, is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Cocos Malors. Oh my god, look at this cover, guys. It's beautiful. And so this book is about a young British painter named Cleo and a New Yorker named Frank, he's in his 40s, she's in her 20s. And they impulsively marry after only a few months of dating so she can stay in the US. and it follows how their lives are affected with them being married and how their friends' lives are affected. And this was such like a great book, like cinematically. Like I think there's gonna be a TV or movie, I heard, and I'm so excited for that because I know it's gonna be amazing. And I really want Suki Waterhouse to play Cleo, even though she's a little older than the character. I just think it would be so good. But so it really was like such an amazing book for me. The thing that made it so low on this list and not being like a top 5 book is I really didn't enjoy the chapters that were about the side characters. And I just felt myself getting bored and not seeing how it connected to the main story, which I love, between Cleo and Frank. So if it was just about them, this would be a 5-star read. But without that, I just gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But truly, highly recommend this, especially if you want like a book that also looks good, like a coffee table or something, because look, this is so aesthetic. This was such a good book. Okay, on to the next book. Number 7. I'm just checking my list. Number 7 is, oh, A Part of Your World. Okay, the second Abby Minya's book on the list. And this is actually the first Abby Minya's book I've read this year, getting back into her books. And so this is about Alexis and Daniel. And Alexis is this super rich, like millionaire rich surgeon. And she lives in a big city. And Daniel is this good-looking carpenter who lives in a small town in the middle of nowhere. He runs it in, and he knows nothing about her world. She knows nothing about his world. But when they come together, when her car breaks down, they just supposed to be a one-night hookup, but they really connect. And so Alexis is really torn between that she can't like be with a guy like him, but they've fallen in love. And this is like overall like such a good book. And the best part of this book is Daniel. Like Daniel, he's like when you're thinking of book boyfriends, like this is top tier. Like he's truly perfect. No notes, like amazing book boyfriend. The one thing I didn't like was actually Alexis at times. Like I actually love her overall, but she just like could be a little like mean to Daniel, and I loved Daniel so much. I was like, girl, like you're like just like treating him so poorly. And so that was my main issue with the book. But I would give this book 4.6 out of 5 stars. Like it is such a good book, and like I was sad when it was over because it was so good. Okay, now number 6 is the other Coco Mallore's book I read this year, and this is Blue Sisters. This is her new book, and I was dying to read this after Cleo and Frankenstein. And this book to me was like the other book, but even better. And this cover also is, I like the other cover a little bit better, which is my second favorite cover of the year. It's so pretty. Like, it's just like the aesthetic. I kind of wish it didn't say Read with Jenna because it kind of ruins it. But so this book is about 4 sisters. And okay, I wrote down their names. So it follows Avery, Lucky, Bonnie, and Nikki has passed, unfortunately, a year ago. And so it shows how the other 3 sisters are dealing with their lives after one of their sisters have died. And they're on different countries, like Lucky's in Paris, Avery's in England, and Lucky's in Paris, and then Bonnie is in LA. And they all come back together to their home in New York, and it shows what happens then. But overall, this was such an amazing book, especially like as a character study. I feel like the characters were so complex. Like, it's so interesting. Like, it's definitely like a book, like I feel like, you know, you're reading a lot of like fun romances. You want a book that's like a little bit more like deep. I really enjoyed this. And my main issue with the book though is I honestly didn't find books that the characters very likable. The only one, I love Bonnie. She was so likable, but the other girls are extremely like unlikable. So that was like my main issue with the book. And there was like the stuff, like it's extremely about drugs. So if you're not interested in reading about drugs and addiction, that might not be for you. But so that's the one thing. But other than that, it's such a like a great, compelling read. And I gave this book 4.65 out of 5 stars, so a little bit better. But yeah, highly recommend this. Now into my top 5 favorite books of the year. This was so hard to choose. I kept going over the order in my head over and over again, swapping it. But at the moment, number 5 comes in as The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. Now this book is definitely trigger warnings. It has the whole book is about SA. So just want to let you know that is what it is. Trigger warning, but this is such a beautiful book, and I think it should be like required reading for school because it's such an important read, especially for boys, to actually like learn how to how to treat a woman, like what not to do. And so this book is about a girl named Eden, and when she's 14, she's essayed in her home by her brother's best friend. And how this book then shows how her life is affected for the next all through high school is so like compelling, and shows really how it affects every relationship in her life. Her relationship with her parents, her brother, her best friend, and a lot how she feels about herself, how others view her, her sexuality. And I love how like Eden is allowed to be unlikable, and like you feel for her. And one of the most special parts about this book is her relationship with Josh. And I highly recommend the sequel, which I didn't put in my top 10, but I actually loved the sequel as well. It was so amazing. But her and Josh's relationship, like you want them to get together and be in love so bad. You like just want her to be with him because he's like a top tier also book boyfriend. He wants to be there for her, but she's just not ready for him to be there for her. But this is a beautiful read. It's definitely 5 stars. Amazing book. Okay, number 4 is something I literally almost wasn't able to even have on my top 10 because I almost didn't finish it in 2024, but it just made it in time on New Year's Eve. And this is The Heartless Hunter, and this is by Kristen Cicerelli. And this book, I, like many other books, saw Steph Boher, like all-time favorite book YouTuber, talking about it, and usually this kind of book I would never pick up, but the way she was talking about it, I was like, I have to try this. And so this is about a witch named, just looking at her name again, a witch named Rue. And Rue is a witch in a world where it is illegal to be a witch. You literally will get murdered. And the other main character of the book is Gideon, who's a witch hunter. And so Rue is actually pretending to be a socialite, and so she's like just acts like a rich girl who only cares about dresses, finding a man. And at nighttime, she actually is helping other witches escape this horrible world to better areas. And so Gideon and her actually end up kind of suspecting each other. Like she knows he's a witch hunter, but she starts suspecting that she could be the one who's helping all those people, even though he's like, it can't be. She's like a socialite. So, and also he's her brother's best friend. And so they start like meeting with each other and like both pretending that they just are like in love with each other while they also are suspecting each other, but then also falling for each other. This book, if you love shows like Vampire Diaries, I highly recommend this because there's just so many twists and turns. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's so exciting. It's so like, the romance is so good, and you gotta start it now, guys, because like in 3 weeks the sequel's coming out, and I am so excited. I will be getting that the day it comes out. Like, this was a 5 stars amazing read, like, and how it ended was insane, so I'm really desperate to read the next one. Okay, now top 3 favorite books. Number 3 is One Day in December by Josie Silver. And this book I almost didn't even read, but I was looking for like a holiday read that like wasn't like Hallmarky. And so I found this book, and this book is about a girl named Lori who's on a bus one day, and she doesn't even believe in love at first sight before this, but she sees this man when she's on the bus, and she instantly falls in love. They have this connection. And so she's looking for him on every bus corner for a year, doesn't see him. Her best friend's also helping look for him because she's her best friend in the whole world, Sarah. But then one day, a year later, Sarah comes home with that guy as her boyfriend, Jack. And so it's about them dealing with being friends and like eventually falling for each other. But I don't feel like a lot of stories like this, you feel like they're really disrespecting the best friend and they're like these horrible people. In this, I feel like they're truly like trying, like he loves Sarah, she loves Sarah, they don't want to hurt anyone. And it's not like, the amount of cheating in this book is like not as much as it sounds like there would be. And I highly recommend this if you love the holiday. I feel like it has extreme holiday vibes, the movie. And like, it just like, it made me like just like have a warm feeling. It's the perfect like holiday read, but it actually is not it's not Christmassy at all. Like it's totally just a good winter read. So if you still want to read it, guys, I'd highly recommend this. And it's also like not that long, so you just like flip through it. And I love how Jack is like able to be like complex. He's not like the stereotypical book boyfriend. Like it's really like I was surprised how much I love this. Okay, top two books. These ones I couldn't even decide which is really number, but I think I decided. So number two is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And this book, I'm sure you've read it. I'm sure everyone has in their top five because it is just her best book by like miles. It is so good. And first the concept I was like about, but I decided to give it a shot anyway because I had a Target. Like there was a Target sale going on. I needed books. I wanted to buy the Target sale. And so the concept of this book is when it comes to love, both Emma and Justin are cursed. They both, every time they are in a relationship and they break up with someone, the person finds their soulmate after them. And so them coming together is so beautiful and how they're there for each other. And Justin is another perfect book boyfriend. So if you haven't picked this up yet, what are you doing? This is like the most perfect rom-com book ever. I hope this becomes a movie. This is like 6 stars. This is a 6-star read. Okay, so this is my number one favorite book of the year. And I know everyone's seen the Netflix show this, but if you haven't read the book of this too, what are you doing? It's One Day by David Silver. And this book is, to me, it's even better than I've seen the Netflix series, I've seen the movie, but just reading the words, to me, hits the hardest. And so if you haven't seen any of it, it's about Dexter and Emma. It starts in 1988, where they're both graduating college and they almost hook up, but instead they become best of friends. And it actually takes them through one day of each year of their life. On the same day, I think July 15th, you see how their friendship has evolved. You see sometimes Dexter's doing great, Emma's in life's in the toilet, and sometimes it totally flip-flops. Emma's doing amazing, Dexter's doing horrible. And to see like how they grow as people and evolve and how their friendship goes from friends to maybe something more, it's just so beautiful. And like I just love another book where they're allowed to mess up, allowed to not be perfect, and like they're not like described as like always being gorgeous. Like they're allowed, like he ages in Dexter and he's not as good looking as he was when he was younger. Like it feels so real. And the ending, no spoilers, but the ending is shocking, and you better be prepared, guys, for the ending. If you don't know, like you're gonna be like shook. But like I highly recommend reading this before you see the movie or TV show. But if you've seen those, see how, especially if you only seen the movie, you'll be able to see the full scenes. But it's also so interesting to see like how the scenes in the TV show, like how, like where they came from. And yeah, like this book is just such a beautiful book, and it's really great if you love normal people. Like I feel like this, you also love this. So yeah, this is my number one favorite book of the year. And that was my top 10, but let's now get into some honorable mentions. Okay, so my first honorable mention, speaking of books, if you like normal people, is Talking at Night. And this is by Claire Daverly. And to me, this is such a normal people inspired book that like you'll definitely like it if you have read Normal People Enjoyed It. And this is about Will and Rosie, and they meet as teenagers because he's Rosie's twin's best friend. Maybe not best friends, but like close friends. And so they like connect one night and start talking, like gets the name Talking at Night. And the book takes place in England, and you get to see their lives throughout the years, and very similar to One Day too, actually, how they like friendship grows into something more. Like as I'm saying this, I realize it's very similar. Honestly, not as good as like One Day or Conversations with Friends or Normal People. It's not to that level, but it's a great book if you're craving more of those books. Like I really did love a lot about this book. Does it drag on? Yes, but I truly did like want to like keep reading, see what was happening, and the cover's beautiful. So I definitely would still recommend this. I'd probably give it like a 3.4 stars maybe, but still, it was a really good book though. Okay, so my next honorable mention is Dinner for Vampires. And I truly love this book, but I kind of wanted to keep my top 10 all fiction books. And this is by Betsy Joy Lenz. And if you don't know her, then you need to watch One Tree Hill, one of the best shows of all time. And she's one of the main stars of the TV show, who just wrote her own book. And I actually went to the book signing for this, and I met her. So this is the signature from her. She was so sweet and beautiful. But her book is about her experience actually being in a cult while she was on One Tree Hill, which is, it sounds insane, I know. And it's really like such a good book. Like, it really gives you awareness of how easily you can go from thinking you're just in like a family or something and really think in a cult. And you feel for her so much in the book, and I love how honest she is. Like, she kind of takes some blame on herself too. And the story is like, it's also great if you love One Tree Hill, you get some insights. And it really kept me going. I was like, oh my god, this story is just so insane. And I also just like love her so much. So this is such a great read. And the cover's also gorgeous, and I love the title, the concept dinner for vampires. 5 stars. Okay, and my last honorable mention is the last book I read of Abby Jimenez this year, The Friend Zone. And this is actually her first book ever. And so her writing definitely improves as you go on, but I still really enjoyed this book. And so this is about Kristen, and as well as Josh. And Kristen is a girl who's, she's kind of like not like other girls. So some of what I don't like about her, but she's like, doesn't do drama. She likes to like eat a lot, which I love, but like they make that a big plot point that like she loves to eat and other girls don't almost, which is kind of silly. But I really liked how tough she was though. And she meets Josh, who is the brother. No, he's not the brother. He's the best friend of her best friend's fiance. So this is how they meet, and immediately they become super close friends, but he's getting friend zoned because she already has a boyfriend for most of the book. And so you have to see how he's like, wants to be with her so bad, she wants to be with him. And she also has this thing where she thinks she can't have babies, and he wants children, so she thinks we can't be together, we can only be friends. And the book is really super entertaining. Is it my favorite book of hers? No. But I truly loved it. I loved the stuff with her dog. I love Josh is awesome. He's a great book boyfriend. And it was such a super fun read. I definitely would still recommend you definitely checking this out. And that's all my honorable mention. That's a lot of books. As you can see, they're just like covered in books here now. But that was my top 10 plus all my honorable mentions for 2024. And I'm so excited to see what the books are going to be in 2025. There's already so many I'm excited for, especially like the new Abby Jimenez book, the new Emily Henry book, the sequel to Heartless Hunter, the new Hunger Games book. Like, so many amazing reads. I'm sure next year my top 10 is going to be like insane. But it was so fun making this video and getting to see what was truly my favorite books of the year. And please subscribe if you love book videos, because I'm going to be making so much more book videos. I'm such a passionate reader. But if you also like other content, I'm going to be doing vlogs, other like topic focused main channel videos. So, and please don't forget to comment your favorite book. And thanks so much for watching. Bye guys!